Welcome to the Dream Team Tonic podcast. My name's James and I'm coming to you live from Bogota, Colombia. I've always wanted to say that. I'm doing this from my hotel room, so apologies if the maid comes in or if the roadworks outside or the crazy traffic that's in Bogota with everyone beeping their horns affects the pod. But tonight we have a special guest, former Dream Team winner, Fergie. Hi, Fergie.
Hi, guys. How are we doing?
All good. And as usual, we've got Scott and Ben. Hi, guys.
Hey, mate. You got your Wi-Fi signal working?
It's actually better in Colombia than it is in Venezuela, to be honest with you.
That's the clearest we've seen you in a while.
It is.
The setup's not ideal. I've got a 55-inch hotel TV here and my laptop here, so I apologise if I'm not looking at people. But we're doing the best we can in these circumstances. So
we'll have to share a picture of that setup.
I'll stick
that is a massive screen.
Fergie, let's start with you because I know you've got a limited amount of time. Let's tell us how your game week went and what your plans are for next week and the coming weeks.
Yeah, it went okay. I sold Simicast, which wasn't the best. I was convinced that after obviously he was rested on the weekend, wasn't he? And then he played, was it 45? Was at fault for the goal, and then kind of reading chat and reading commentary that he was hauled off at half time. I thought there's no way he's going to play, and even if he did, I thought Brentford, in all honesty, would score. So the fact that he banged in a 14-pointer hurt quite a bit. I did bring in Saliba for 9 points. That one wasn't that bad, and I also brought in Martinelli for Alvarez. So I scored 98 points, which I think is okay. Since Simicast was obviously not on the team, but yeah, Raya, who I've held for a while now, he's done well for me actually. I think the keepers this season, there's not many who have done really well, especially the kind of European ones. I know a lot have bought Martinez and been kind of really frustrated with him, but Raya's been okay. So he had 4 points. I've got Cash, same as Evan, who's done well, 5. I had Walker the week before, and I kept him for another week. I wish I hadn't now, but it kind of is what it is for his conceding 4. Foden 10, who's just been amazing last 2 weeks. Bowen 9, again, he's been amazing, but it looks like he might be injured, which could be a problem, which I'm disappointed about because he's relatively kind of low owned in my mini leagues, but he's banging it every week. So I'll be really disappointed if he's out. Saka 7, just incredible. Was he 5 bonus points even when the team loses or whatever else and stuff? So he's just awesome. Gordon 4, Martinelli 5, Salah captain, and Haaland. So 801st overall. Haven't used any chips yet, and really happy, to be honest, with the way the season is going, and I'm really enjoying the game as well. I think I've said a few times, this is my favorite game so far this season. I really like the gameplay, I like the transfers, I like the boosters. Price changes are a bit out of control, but they seem to be cooling off a little bit. But overall, yeah, really good season. Really enjoy it.
Right. Thanks, Phil. Yeah, decent week you've had there.
Looking good, that.
Ben,
so you're not a big fan of these new chips? Oh, sorry. I was going to say, Fergie, I listened to the latest pod.
Oh yeah, I wouldn't say I'm not a fan, but I personally think they've been a bit over-egged in the points you can get, because I think that, I know you, Scott, did incredibly well. I got, was it 60 odd points, whatever it was, but I think it's very easy to look at what points you got in that week from that 60. But I think that you're taking out players, which we don't kind of minus off the points that they would have got from the chips, for example, and also the game week before and after as well, kind of going in and getting out of it as well. So I think that it's quite easy to look at, like a total of, I got 40 points or 50 points, whatever else. But I do think there is sacrifice and compromise to get those points, which I think is not always kind of looked at. And the way my team is set up, for me to park the bus potentially in 14, I would have to take out someone like, I don't know, Saka or Bowen or Foden or someone like that. And the way they're playing, I can't see myself doing it really.
You
so I'm
lose
not
10
I'm
to
not,
20 points from that.
Well, exactly. You lose 10 to 20 points to gain 40 or 50, but it's more the fact then I'll probably have to buy them back for, kind of more expensive and use my transfers to get the team I already had, sort of thing. So I may be wrong, and I may be completely wrong, but I'm tempted to just play them maybe towards the end of the season when it like when it naturally falls. So, say for example, if Bowen is injured, say Bowen and Gordon get injured, it just makes absolute sense. We just take them out anyway and just do it. But what I don't want to do is take out two very, very good players and compromise my team just to get them back. So, but this is the way I'm thinking about it. I don't think it's very popular, and it's kind of a bit boring way of thinking about it. But when you're on a bit of a roll, which I have been, you don't want to compromise your team, and that's just the way I'm thinking about it. But I would also say I have seen some of the scores have been absolutely incredible, including yourself, Scott. So there's no knocking that in the slightest.
Yeah, but it's not guaranteed though, is it? I listened to Nip and Half Pod, and I heard you speaking about it last week, and I thought, that I think quite a lot of people would need to hear that. So,
Oh, good. I'm glad you said that. Cheers.
Cool. How did you get on, Ben?
102 points I got. Johnston I brought in for Martinez as my enabler, so I could get Bruno Fernandes back in. I took Rodri out, who scored. So that worked well. I was eight points down on that transfer in the end because Martinez got 4 points and Rodri got 8. So but I'm happy with my team for doing that. I had to go for Fernandes against Luton, and Rodri had Chelsea. So got Cash at the back, 5 points, Digne 3, Simicast 14, Martinelli 5, Ward-Prowse got 11, Saka 7, Nunez got 8. He could have had a couple of goals, but they were ruled out for VAR. Haaland 17 and Captain Salah, who got 28. So not bad. Half my rank now. Starting to creep up the table. 14k now. I was 26k last week. So
start the comeback.
Yeah, the comeback's on now. Got to start from somewhere, ain't you?
There's nothing better than a rank halving week, is there?
Yeah.
Brilliant stuff.
Yeah.
Cool. What about you, Scott? How did you get on? You're riding high, I see. Yeah,
doing all right. Obviously, I have used that part of the bus booster, but 113 points for the game week, 1,316, and that's 40th overall at the minute. So getting a bit dizzy.
Flying.
A bit dizzy there. Got Johnston in goal, like most people, with the blank this time round, but fixtures looking good. Simicast, I got lucky with this one because I bought Saliba in, and if I could have afforded it, I would have bought Saliba in I would have bought him in for Simicast, to be honest with you. I couldn't afford it, so I took Dallo. I took Dallo out instead, who did get a clean anyway. But I got the 14 points for Simicast, so I'll probably end up keeping him now. Matty Cash with 5. Bowen again, it's annoying because I put him in. He's been doing really. I'm probably going to have to take him out again. It's looking like. I did think that was going to be one of those injuries where I was skeptical of. I thought it was going to be, Antonio's just got injured. Bring him back. But the longer it goes on, the worse it's starting to look, I think, if you believe what you see on Twitter. Saka with 7. I did the same. Bruno Fernandes in. As soon as I took him out, he started doing well, and he's back again. So I brought him back in, and I'm just going to stick with him. Foden 10, Watkins 7, Salah 14, and then Haaland, I captained him, and he got the 34 with the armband on. So decent week there. Happy with that.
Awesome.
Cool.
Well played, Scott.
Nice one. Moving on to my team. I didn't have such a good week. I almost posted in our Discord to say that if you've got Simicast, I would get rid of him because I watched his performance in that previous game, and I was convinced he wasn't going to start, much like Fergie. So I think that's the major difference between me and a lot of teams. I got 90 points last week. Johnson 0, Trippier 1, Cash 5, Saliba, who I brought in for Walker, got me 9. And I took out Phil Foden, and I brought in Martinelli, who got me 5. Matoma 2, who's looking like he's going to need to be on the chopping block this week, unfortunately. Diaby 5, Saka 7, Nunes 8, captained Haaland for 34 points. I was a bit nervous when Salah banged in a couple of goals. I thought, oh no, here we go. But Haaland actually managed to beat Salah's score, so it turned out all right in the end. But it was a nervous wait until that City game was finished. So Nunes 8, Haaland 34 as captain, and Salah 14. My current rank is 2,512. Not great, but I haven't used any chips yet, so there's plenty of scope for improvement there.
Speaking
Not great.
of,
That's good rank, mate, compared to mine.
that's what Paul McNulty does to me every week, Ben. I'll say I'm having a shocker, and he'll say I'm having a shocker, but he's like 10 times above me or whatever. Speaking of Nunes, I'm sure you guys remember last time I was on. We're talking about Trippier and Nunes, and I said I think Nunes is going to outscore Trippier by the time I come back on, and I think they're both on 103 points, but I think that Trippier was slightly ahead when I came on, so I might have won that one, guys. I'm not 100% sure, but they're both on 103, so it wasn't a bad shout after all.
Yeah.
I know short term, someone was mentioning it in the Discord, weren't they? Saying, who said don't get Trippier in?
Short term was a nightmare. I think you averaged like
Take
45 points
win.
in 3 games, but I think I did say over the long term.
You're claiming it.
I think they're leaving out. So I'll take that
James,
as a small win.
Sorry, James. Back on Simicast. Do you think he would have started if Gomez wasn't injured?
No, I don't. I think Gomez was absolute shoo-in after that, in my opinion, after that performance of Simicast. He gets downhearted, and he needs to go to the touchline for a hug from Klopp to get his spirits back up. I've seen Klopp have words with him, halfway through the game, say, "Come on, back yourself up. You can do this," sort of thing. No, I'm convinced Gomez would have played, and that injury came out of nowhere. So that was annoying in multiple formats for me. Yeah. I'm not sure how long Gomez is out for, to be honest, but it'll be interesting to see what happens when he gets back. But Simicast played that game and he had a blinder, so who knows? But I suspect there will be rotation there. Right, should we move on to the listener questions? Right, first up, we've got Dream Team Patrick. Who would your ideal back five be if you were using Park the Bus in game week 14? As Bergie's looking quizzical, I'm going to go to Ben for this one.
TAA, Trent Alexander-Arnold, definitely in for game week 14. Simicast, if he's looks like he's back in the left back now. Gomez is injured. Saliba from Arsenal. Van Dijk. And then it's depending on how Arsenal do this weekend. tempted by Zinchenko, but obviously he's like a bit of a rotation risk with Tomiyasu. But Zinchenko can get points from all sorts of things, so I like that one. Ben White and Gabriel. I like Gabriel more than Ben White, to be honest. But yeah, Zinchenko for his price, probably be the fifth one if he plays at the weekend.
Mm-hmm. What do you think, Scott?
Fairly similar. Obviously, if like budget was not a problem, I'd say Trent, Virgil van Dijk, Saliba, White, and then Trippier. But I don't imagine many people are going to be able to go with the full back five. Trippier has got Man United and Everton, which are tough games, but he does seem to do well regardless. But yeah, if I was dropping one down, it probably would be him if you needed the budget to Simic and Zinchenko, really. But if budget was no option, that's what I'd do. I'm not sure. I've seen people mention, because Arsenal is a problem, mention Gabriel. And I just have this horrible feeling he's got a benching coming his way that week. It's easy for me to say because I'm not going to be playing it. But I had a look back, and last time there was an international break and he played twice for Brazil. He played the 2 tough games afterwards. And then the easier home game, I think it was Sheffield United. He was dropped for Kivior in that one. And I can just see that happening again for maybe Wolves at home or Luton. But obviously just guesswork, but that's how I feel about Gabriel.
Okay, cool. What about you, Fergie? What would your ideal back five be?
Yeah, roughly the same, but I think I'm the same in terms of I think there'll be a bit of rotation as well for all of them. They all play 3 games in a week, don't they, with the midweek fixtures? So yeah, it would be the same. You know, Trent, Van Dijk. I just read up on Gomez, and it looks like he's just like a minor knock. I think the Gomez will be back for that week, so I don't think that's gonna. I think that puts a double start for Simicast at risk. Potentially Gabriel, as we said, I think he's missed 5 out of the 12 games they played so far, or 4 out of the 12, which is quite a lot. There's clearly an issue there, whether it's an injury issue, whether it's a tactical issue, I'm not sure. So, I just go for the nailed on ones.
Yeah, they were playing Amati, weren't they, as like an inverted right back before, weren't they? That's why Gabriel got dropped. That was at the start of the season, weren't it?
Amati played for Leicester, didn't he?
We had Timber.
Not Amati, a party.
Yeah. He just had this random bench, for Kiwior, didn't he? A few weeks ago, and we're not sure if it's to do with like tactical or fitness or whatever. It's just I'm not sure. I probably preferred to Simicast. I think he's got more chance of starting the 2 than Simicast has, for example. But yeah, it's down to the lap to the gods there, isn't it? But yeah, I think those 5 are the best options.
I don't think it's the end of the world. If you have just maybe one that might play 1 out of 2, I don't think it's the end of the world, is it?
Yeah, probably got the main ones. And they keep clean sheets.
Moving on to Patrick's second question. If you're not considering Park the Bus yet, do you think Max captain for game week 14 is a good move instead? Scott, what do you reckon?
I hadn't actually considered Max captain myself, but I had thought about using another booster that week as almost like a little bit of a insurance policy to sort of defend against it. But I'd actually thought of maybe 12th man. I hadn't considered Max captain. I'd thought about 12th man just because I was thinking I might be able to claw back some of those points that people gain. Because if you have 5 at the back, you're going to have 2 strikers. So I was kind of thinking I could end up with 4 strikers while everyone else has 2. If I added a striker in there, but I hadn't considered Max captain really. Because I don't know if I would captain. I'd probably just captain Salah that week. Arsenal got good fixtures, but I don't think I'd captain an Arsenal player. So, yeah, I haven't considered it really.
Okay. So what do you think, Fergie? What would you consider?
Yeah, I think we
using
were in a Discord on Sunday night, and Andy Barnett, I think it was, made a really good point about using max captain more when the normal captain options haven't got good fixtures. I've only got one fixture. So say kind of later on in the season, you have other teams like, I don't know, Newcastle or I know Arsenal or Spurs or wherever have got like a double game week, but maybe Man City, Liverpool, only play once. You don't really know who to captain in that one. And then, it gives you an opportunity to get a real like differential haul instead of using it in one where Salah is likely to be the best option anyway. So I thought that was a really good strategy, actually, and I really like that. So I think that's the best strategy I've seen for using max captain, is to try and catch a real differential haul. Or if you're kind of saving it to the end again, which is my kind of plan, to overhaul a mini league lead in the last game week or two, just try and bang some points out at the end. But they're my two favorite options so far for that chip.
Cool. I missed the Discord live stream, but if anyone who's listening tonight, we've opened this pod up to the world. This is what we normally do for our patrons first. If you'd like to join us, you can find us at patreon.com/Dream Team Tonic. And Ben, what do you think?
Yeah, this week's probably you're going to captain someone like Salah. Sorry, in game week 14, you're going to probably captain Salah, who's got Fulham and Sheffield United. So I wouldn't use it in game week 14. You could possibly use it this game week in game week 13 with you got Haaland's got Liverpool home, and then Man City's through in the Champions League. So yeah, they've got a home game against Leipzig. So will Haaland play that game? We don't know. Yeah. Possibly for his record, he might play to keep his record going. And Liverpool, like, they're playing Man City away, and then they've got Lask at home. Will Salah play in that? So who'd you captain this week? Saka's got Brentford away, Lons at home. You could possibly throw the max captain in this week, and maybe Ward-Prowse or someone like that might go off, and you can get him as your captain because he's got Burnley away and TSCBT away, whatever that is. Europa League Conference minnows.
Mm-hmm. Cool. Yeah, I think I would. I mean, I love that suggestion from Andy Barnett that you just mentioned. So I that's changed my thinking. So that's the great thing about us all talking about it in here. So let's move on to the next question from the Dream Team King. Would you play Park the Bus without Trent or Trippier or both? Fergie, what do you think?
If you can't afford them, then yeah, I still would. I think that with Trippier, I don't think their fixtures are as nice anyway, are they? They've got loads of injuries. So I wouldn't be that scared of him, to be honest. They've been conceding. Trent, he's obviously really good, but he's not been what he has been in previous seasons. He hasn't got much kind of goal threat, even assist threat. So I think if you can go for 5 without those two, I don't see an issue personally. I mean, if you can't afford them, because they're so expensive. Just look, Trent's 5.5, like Tsimikas is 3. Is there really going to be that much of a difference between them? I'm not so sure. So I would say if you're planning on playing it and you can't get to it, then go for it.
What do you think, Ben?
Well, it just depends on what game week and who's got good fixtures. So, like in game week 14, you probably could get away without Trippier. I definitely have Trent though for game week 14, but it just depends what game week you're going to use it in, really.
Okay, yeah, no, I totally agree with that. Scott, do you have anything to add to that one?
Yeah, no, full agreement. If I was going to ditch one of the two in game week 14, it would be Trippier. I think Trent, you need to have him that week. But yeah, same.
Yeah. Cool. Okay, moving on to the next question. Ben already covered a bit of this one in his response a minute ago. Who do we think the best captain picks are for game week 13? Scott, what do you reckon?
I'm going to go for Haaland, I think, anyway, the obvious one. And I probably wouldn't look further than Salah either, to be honest with you. I think both of them still score plenty of goals against big opposition, so I'm not really that worried about either of them. Saka, maybe, if you wanted to take a punt, but I wouldn't go elsewhere, personally.
Fergie, what do you think?
Yeah, I think last week proved that going against the big two can hurt you. There were lots of people who went for Bruno Fernandes, lots went for Saka, and they just got burnt. And I would just say, looking at the big two, Liverpool away to City, home to Lask, and then City having back-to-back home games. I appreciate they're through the Champions League and he may be rested, but he doesn't tend to be rested. I just think it's one of those that if you don't go for Haaland and he hauls, which is incredibly likely, you'll just be like, why the fuck didn't I go for Haaland? So I just think that it's a case of choose your battles when it comes to captaincy. And if the best striker in the world has got back-to-back home games, I just wouldn't look any further personally.
Yeah, it's worth noting that Salah has quite a good record against City, so there's just to cloud everyone's mind. As soon as we'll go Haaland now, I just thought I'd throw that in there just to muddy the waters for you all. Ben, I know you mentioned this a bit earlier. Do you want to add anything before we move on?
No, I just mentioned it in the last one.
Yeah. Cool. Next question. So Nathan's also been on. It says, when are we all planning to use our boosters? I think we've heard that question before. Just rings a bell. I know what my answer is, and I'm just going to get that out there. I don't know at the moment. I every week I look at the opportunities, for the next few weeks, and every time it doesn't feel quite right to me. So whenever it feels right is my answer, and I know that's woolly and not what people want to hear, but that's the way I'm doing it. Scott, what do you think?
I was just going to say, well, Fergie, you need to shoot. Fergie, you need to shoot in a minute. But did you want to just? Yes. You did speak about it. You did speak about it a minute ago. Did you want to round off with any thoughts on this one before you go?
Yeah, I think the only thing I would just add on, I think as well, and maybe it's just me, but I think it's kind of rank dependent as well. I think because I've had a decent start, got a good team, I don't feel the need to kind of do it either. Whereas if I'd have had a poorer start, and maybe you just need that real, boost to get your season going, make you feel good, help sort your team out, I can see why they would be used. So I do think there's a bit of that as well. I don't think it's just about waiting for the optimal ideal week, because we never know when that is. So I would say, because I've had a good start, that's part of the reason also why I'm happy just to hold off. I'm 70, 50, 60 points off top 100, 135 points off first. To me, that's kind of well within reach. So I'm not in any mad rush to kind of use them. So similar to James, I just think you just wait. Like I say, if I get another injury in my team and it'll look like it'll fall for me perfectly for game week 14. If I don't, I probably won't. I'll just leave it. But I would rather wait for it to come to me rather than try and force it, because we've all been stung with FPL and chips, right? Trying to play our bench boost, trying to be too clever, and you take out really good players and get stung. And I just don't want that to happen. So I'm happy. I'm going to see I think the names of the chips, the names boosters are just that. I think they should boost your score and not, we shouldn't try and just manipulate everything around it. Having said that, Scott, you played it absolutely fantastically well. So hats off to you. Like in hindsight, you played yours at the ideal time. So you did incredibly well there. So, but yeah, that's what I'd add really. Is I just wouldn't go mad on them, because I don't think there is valuable as we all think. When you take everything into account, like even if you get 100 points off the chips, I mean, we're already on like, we're averaging over 100 points a game week. So it's not, I mean, at this rate, we're going to be on nearly 4,000 points over the season. So 100 points is not really going to make or break your whole season. Whether, if you get 100 points, whether you get 30, whether you get 70, it's not going to be something which defines your whole season. So I just wouldn't treat it as such. So yeah, I'll finish on that, Jens, if that's all right. But thank you very much for having me. Apologies, I've got to go. Like I say, I was going to come on Sunday, but obviously we had an issue. So just please able to jump on for half hour. Best luck for everyone, and look forward to coming on again soon. Thank you, guys.
Thanks, Fergie.
Cheers, Fergie.
Cheers.
Thank you, Jens. Cheers,
Thanks,
all.
mate.
Cheers, all. Thanks in the chat.
Who was up next?
So,
did I?
Well, I think
I go?
think it was Ben. You need Ben's answer for this one.
Oh, you go, Ben.
I think you've done yours, Scott.
I am quite tempted to use my max captain in Game Week 13 this week, just with not being an obvious captain and Man City and Liverpool playing each other. So, and with the European teams pretty much through, Liverpool's pretty much through, Man City's through. Just rotation. I think there might be someone who pops up and gets more points than the usual big hitters, so might be a good week to do it. And I've already used my 12th man. That went down the pan with 2 points. Alvarez, 2 points. Who do you have? Bournemouth at home and Young Boys. And he didn't start against Young Boys. So he just got to 2 points. Yeah, I had a good front three that week, like Salah, Nunez. They had a couple of good games. I can't remember who they were playing now. And Man City, Haaland. So, yeah, I thought I'll get the 4 in. I brought Nunez in for his price rise, and I didn't want Alvarez for the week after because they were playing Chelsea. So I thought I'll just bring him in for the 12th man, and then I don't have to keep him. And part of the bus, I'm penciled in for Game Week 17. Newcastle have got Luton and Forest. That's the main team I'm going to target, I think. And then you've got, I'll probably bring Trent in, even though he's got Arsenal. He's got Arsenal at home, and just check. Where was it? Arsenal at home, Burnley away. So he could be one. And then you've got Chelsea, Tottenham, Villa have got decent fixtures as well. So could bring some players in from them if I want to. What about you, James?
Christmas ruiner.
Yeah.
I like I said, I'm planning to use my boosters when it feels right.
Yeah.
I've been tempted. I was looking at Game Week 14 for the part of the bus, but I keep changing my mind because I think the Liverpool and Arsenal have got good attacking assets for that week, and I don't think they're so good necessarily as strong defensively. It's a difficult one. I don't think it's not the perfect week. I don't think I'm going to do it. I think there may well be a better week to do it further down the season. So that's where I am at the moment with that one.
Oh yeah, and just to add, Man City's only got a single game week that week in Game Week 17 as well. So if you've got Alvarez as well as Haaland, you probably could move off one to get 5 at the back.
That's not a bad shout. Yeah, I like that thinking. Yeah. Cool. Shall we move on to the next question?
Yep.
Oz says, what's everyone's expectation / estimate of their final position at the end of the season with their current rank in mind? Let's start with Ben on this one, seeing as he's languishing a bit this season, but he's always a strong finisher, I might add, and usually overtakes. He's overtaken me on the last game week a couple of times.
But we were talking about this on the on Sunday night in the live chat on the Discord, and I said I'll be happy with a top 1K finish, but Fergie says to me, "You'll finish well above that." Says you'll be well above that. Don't worry about it. So yeah, he says you probably won't. You've got no chance of winning it now, the whole game, but you'll definitely finish within like the top 500. So yeah, what I was thinking is I'll target the top 1K, and then when I get to the top 1K, then I'll change my plan from there. So that's what I try and do. Yeah. But I think used to have got a good chance of winning it in your positions.
Possibly.
What do you mean by change your plan? Like as in your expectations or your
so
the way you play?
No, so like if I get to top 1K by game week 25 or something, then I can reassess and say maybe I'm going to go for top 500 or top 100. Yeah.
Yeah. What do you think, Scott? You're in the lofty heights of 40th.
I've got no idea, to be honest. I've never even been anywhere near this. So I think 350th was my best, and that was last season. So at the start of the season, I thought it'd be brilliant if I could beat that. I tried to have a little look at where I would be if I hadn't have played the booster, if that makes sense. So like minus 62 points or whatever I got from the part of the bus. And I think I would have been about 700th. But then it's hard to judge, isn't it? Because there's also people that have played it above you. Or so, yeah, I don't know. I still think if I could improve on 350, I'd be happy with that, I think. But I'll take it if you reckon I still got a chance. But yeah, I'm not sure.
You remember the shout? I think you do have to make, if to win it, you've got to have some cojones and make those big rank gains come from picking that player that's going to go big for a couple of weeks when no one else sees it. But the problem is, of course, everyone will see it, Scott, because they'll be listening to the Dream Team Professor podcast.
Yeah, as it goes on, I might have to change my approach there.
But you'll get angry comments then. That's the trouble. You've already upset some Spurs fans on Twitter not that long ago. We don't want to see you flamed again.
Don't bring that up.
My take on this is I thought top 500, and I thought no. Well, I actually think I would be relatively happy if I got top 250, but if I finished outside the top 500, I would be upset. So I'm certainly aiming for a sub 500 finish. My highest finish so far was 190th, but it's a completely different game now, so difficult to judge. But I haven't used any of my chips yet. Chips. Sorry, I've blasphemy. Apologies, guys. I haven't used any of my boosters yet. So yeah, there's still plenty of scope. I think, despite what Fergie said earlier, I think you still probably do need to nail those to a degree to get you that nice little boost up the table.
Yeah, just looking
at. Oh, sorry, go on.
I'll just say, just looking at the YouTube there, we've only got 5 likes. Hit the like button, everyone.
Yeah, that's pathetic, isn't it? Come on, guys. How many? Dare I ask how many live watchers we've got?
We've had over 50 tonight.
50. Okay.
45 now.
Nice. Okay, so we move on to the next question.
I was just going to ask one thing. What you think of this is? Do you know we used to make quite a lot of gains the second half of the season when people forget their passwords and all that when they stop playing? Do you think we'll have a less password forgetters, less people stop playing because there's constantly things you can be doing? Because I feel like you lose a lot of people when you did blow your transfers early or you give up, that sort of thing. But it feels like it's not as you wouldn't give up as easily with always having things to do.
I think you made a good point there. I do think it might decrease slightly, but there's always going to be people at the bottom of their mini leagues and think, I've got no hope.
Yeah.
So and I've used all my boosters, etc. So yeah, maybe they should bring in more boosters for the second half of the season to keep the engagement up. But I don't know.
Reload.
Right. Wadey says, crazy as it seems, I haven't owned Foden all season. Is he essential? I feel that so many own him and he loves bonus points. What do you think, Ben?
I haven't owned him all season either. But no, I don't think he's essential. He's only 8th on the points leaderboard, behind Alvarez, Ward-Prowse, Watkins, Bowen. And he's not nailed in the team, really, is he? Like, he does get rotated, especially with them being through in Europe. I could see him not playing in midweek, so he might play 20 minutes. I don't know. You don't know he's Man City. That's the problem, especially in this new format. You can't like wait for the lineups. So you've just got to gamble if you're going to bring Foden in. He might not play. What is it?
I'm not quite happy with him, to be honest with you, but I wouldn't say he's essential by any stretch. What do you think, Scott?
Yeah, same. I've had him for quite a while, and yeah, I've really enjoyed having him in my team. I think I saw he's got double figures in 3 of his last 4 games as well. But yeah, I wouldn't say he's essential. All I sort of think that is maybe essential is having Haaland plus another City attacker in some sort of way. Alvarez is off the boil at the minute, but there was a point where I wanted to have either Haaland and Alvarez or Haaland and Foden, because everyone's got Haaland. So you kind of have to have another to sort of benefit from City being so good going forward, in my opinion, I think. But yeah, not essential. I think I will mostly have 2 City attackers at all times.
What about when they get later in the Carabao Cup and that? Like, they're not in the cup anymore, are they? In the Carabao Cup, does that bother you?
You'd have to think they still will be going fairly far in when's FA Cup start? You're the fixture guy.
Game week 19.
But they still could rotate, I suppose. Yeah, I think I probably will be keeping hold of him. I feel like he's a bit more set than like the likes of Doku, Grealish, and some of the other guys. But yeah, definitely not essential.
Cool. Moving on. He says, is Park the Bus too powerful, or are the other 2 chips too beat crap? What do you think, Ben?
I just think all the boosters are crap. I just prefer a pure game. You don't getting all these boosters and everything, just giving random scores. I don't know. Yeah, but yeah, I think the Part of the Bus is a lot more powerful than the other 2 chips. What do you think?
Potentially, but the other ones could. If you absolutely nailed it, it's much less likely, I think, is the answer. The Part of the Bus is, because it's the whole defence. It's more, you've got multiple hits, whereas the 12th man, you're relying on one player to nail it. I suppose with max captain, if you get somebody who completely goes wild and scores 4 goals or something, 2 assists, you'd be happy as Larry, wouldn't you? But I think Part of the Bus is probably it is the most powerful chip based on probability of it being a success, I think. Yeah. Anything to add on that, Scott?
No, pretty much in agreement. It's just where the Part of the Bus is that many players, isn't it, compared to the other 2? But yeah, I think I'm the same as Ben. If you gave me the choice of taking them out, I probably would take them out. I think. Give us something like a wild card, because I quite liked that last season.
Yeah. All right, moving on. Anthony Stringer's been on. Best transfer to take in for the next game week. Now, I was wondering whether he was talking about a punt here. I wasn't sure, so I'd be interested to see your answers for this one. I didn't come up with a name. So, Ben, what do you think?
Well, I just think it's team dependent. There's the same thing as before that I was saying. But if I had to pick one player, it'd be Haaland. I don't know what team you've got. So obviously you'll have Haaland. But I mean, it's not a very good week this week. There isn't any standout team, is there really?
No.
Maybe Martinelli or something like that from Arsenal. You've got Brentford away and Lens at home. Something like that. Saka. Obviously, you probably have Saka. So something like that.
Cool. Yeah, I sort of thought the same. Like, it's hard to know, isn't it, really, without seeing the team? But like, I think this week, you might just want to look at this week as getting one in early for next week, if that makes sense. Start making your moves ahead of the next week, because that is a really good week if you want to plan for it. But,
that's a good point, actually. Yeah, it's not always about this immediate week, is it? You've got to remember that. Even with the 2 transfers, I think it can blinker you a little bit. Okay, moving on to the next question from C-Tobs. What are your transfers this week? What are your plans, Scott? Have you made any yet?
How long have we got? Well, I was actually saying that this was one of the first times I think I've considered rolling all season until this Bowen injury come up, which I didn't think it was going to be a real injury. But now I'm looking at Bowen out, and I've got Cash as well. And I'm just getting a bit frustrated of the Villa guys at the back. I don't know what Ben thinks, because he's got 2 of them. But it's always one goal every time. He's still right up there for points, Cash. But I'm looking at it now, and they've got... It is one good fixture, and this is a question coming up as well, but one good fixture, one bad fixture each week, sort of. So Spurs this week's not great. They've got City the week after, Arsenal the week after that. So I'm getting a bit worried about Cash. And then obviously Bowen, I'll probably get him out. But I've got quite a few people that I'm trying to decide between bringing in, and none of them's perfect. I'm liking Ødegaard, the look of him if he's available. That was apparently just a concussion, so he should be all right, I think. Martinelli, Ward-Prowse or Eze. They're some that I've been looking at instead of Bowen. But the defence I'm finding hard. It would be Liverpool or Arsenal, but none of them are perfect at the minute, because your Liverpool players, if you want to bring them in now, you've got to play City. You get the price rise from them, but then they've got to play City, so that's not great. And the likes of Virgil van Dijk, not guaranteed, is he, for you? No. Same with Trent. So it's not really a perfect week for this week. And then if you did Arsenal, you got White. You're not sure if he's going to play. Gabriel could get rotated, and Zinchenko could sort of get rotated. So I'm just, if I do it, it probably isn't going to be perfect for this week.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm still thinking about it, really. What about you, boys?
Ben?
To be honest, I'm thinking about rolling because I can't think of anything to do. I do want to maybe get an Arsenal defender in, just to get one in, because I haven't got any, and I'm not going to be parking the bus in game 14. So maybe just to get 1 or 2 in, just to, if they get a couple of clean sheets in game 40, it won't hurt as bad. And yeah, Saliba's probably top of the list for me, 3.7 million, but struggling to find the funds to get him in, unless I bring in someone cheap as well. So I haven't decided yet. Zinchenko's interesting as well, 3.2 million, but Tomiyasu could be back from injury as well, so he might get rotated with him. So I'm not too sure. Trossard's interesting, but Jesus played. Did he play 90 for Brazil?
Yeah.
So, yeah, he would be a class player to bring in 3 million, enabler as well. But yeah, Nunez has got Man City and last. Should play the Man City game. Not sure who played the last game. So, do we take him out and then enable some money? But Nunez has been getting points just for shots and targets and stuff like that, and creating chances. So he's doing quite well in this new format. So yeah,
I like it.
I think it might be the other way round for Nunez. Historically, at least, Klopp, for the really big games, hasn't trusted Nunez. Whether it will be really interesting to see if Nunez does start. I think he deserves it personally. But what a player to have off the bench when if City are pushing up high. I mean, he's got some pace to burn, running in with the ball over the top. He could be straight in. But yeah, it's possible that he's benched for the City game and plays the last game. But whatever happens, he will get minutes, and he is, as he's proven so far, still a decent option, even though his minutes are going to be reduced because there's a bit of competition there now. I do think he's bumped himself up that pecking order though with his recent performances.
Early kickoff after playing in South America, though, isn't it?
he played
Yeah.
yesterday, didn't he?
Slight
Yeah.
risk.
Got 2
Yeah,
goals
always a
yesterday,
slight
Nunez.
Yeah.
Oh, he bangs him in there,
Did
doesn't
you-
he?
He's the main man now, isn't he? Because what's his name? Bielsa's got rid of all the old boys. He got rid of Suarez and Cavani
Cavani.
now.
Yeah.
I saw a post that Bielsa's been working miracles. He got Bamford. He got Bamford banging in the goals, didn't he? Now he's got Nunez finishing.
They beat Argentina as well, didn't they? Uruguay.
I'll tell you what, they're a football man here. I had the shock of my life last night. I was walking to a restaurant and I heard this running behind me. I looked round and it was a policeman running full clout at me. And I was like, oh my God, what's going on? And then he goes straight past me and he's gone to this restaurant as a TV to look at the current Colombia score. They are nuts here. The other night when Luis Diaz got a couple of goals, the place was rocking. It was quite an experience.
Looked like some trouble in the crowd in that Brazil game, didn't it? Some trouble in that game.
Yeah, always. I think that quite often happens between that. There's a lot of bad blood between Argentina and Brazil in the international football, I think. Yeah. Okay, Twed's been on. Is Sam Johnson still essential? Was he ever essential? Would be my answer. But I will go to you, Scott.
Well, yeah, not essential, but I was looking at it and I was kind of thinking of a way to maybe get Raya fairly soon. But then I was looking at this and thinking, when he's got Luton, West Ham and Bournemouth, I definitely want to keep him for them 3, I think. But then it does get harder, doesn't it? Liverpool, City, Brighton. So I'm definitely going to keep him for 3 games and then just decide whether or not to move on to another cheap keeper or to maybe upgrade, I think. But yeah, not essential, but I wouldn't be taking him out for Luton, would you?
Yeah, in Twed's defence, I think you could argue at that price he's essential because none of the keepers are like tearing up trees, are they? Let's be honest. So at that price, a lot of people have just kept him. Ben, anything to add on that one?
No, he's not essential. But yeah, if you want to park the bus in game week 14, he's going to enable an extra million or 2. So yeah, it's worth having him in there if you're going to park the bus.
Yeah. Cool. Dream Team Phillips been on. If you have a Villa player, are you looking to move them on this week with Villa's upcoming fixtures? As they seem to have one good fixture and then one tough fixture. Scott, you briefly mentioned this earlier. Do you want to Have you got anything to add to that one? Or I know you're looking at getting rid of cash.
Yeah, like cash. I'm not keen on because they haven't been keeping clean sheets through the good run. Although he has still been getting like shots on target, tackles, and still ticking along okay. But when Liverpool and Arsenal have these really good fixtures, I am tempted to go for the teams that look like they could keep clean sheets. But I've got Watkins up front, and this run doesn't put me off of Watkins. It sort of puts me off of Cash. But I look at Spurs in that first game, and they've got a few problems in defence, haven't they? Injuries with Venn, few suspensions. I think Romero.
What you're trying to say is Eric Dyer is going to be playing in central defence.
Exactly, and they're going to be playing a high line with 11, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5 players all on the halfway line. Watkins is going to have a field day, so I'm going to keep Watkins in for that Spurs game. And then I still think even City and Arsenal, their home form is good, so I still think they can score in those games. I don't think Watkins is a concern, but defensively he is a concern for me.
Yeah. That's pretty much exactly what I had written down. Ben, do you have anything to add?
Obviously, if you've got no other problems in your team, then you probably could look at moving these other players on with the tricky fixtures coming up. They're not like you've got to get rid of them, but I've got 2, so I'd like to get rid of 1 at least. But they're both so cheap; it's hard to move them on. That's the only problem.
Yeah,
like you got. I think is it how'd you say his name? Adingra. He's at Brighton. He's 2.8 million. But if you're at 3 at the back, it's hard to move to that. Obviously, so there's not many options around that price. Saying would like to get Arsenal defenders in.
That's the thing, though. For the price, you're doing like Cash or Digne. You got to sort of, you can't just swap them for Saliba or White, can you? It's like more like a Zinchenko or a Tomiyasu, and then it's a bit like, it's not as good.
Cool. Nathan's back again with Watkins. Would you keep or sell? With Watkins, keep or sell? Anyone better in mind with upcoming fixtures, 4.7 million and lower?
Well, I think I sort of answered that bit, didn't I?
Yeah.
So on to Ben.
We'll through this one.
I don't mind him as an attacking player. Like Tottenham away, they've not got like a great all their best players at the minute in defence, so that they're a good team probably to target. And Leggy are at home, so I probably wouldn't sell him this week. And then you've got Bournemouth, Man City. So yeah, definitely not this week. You could probably keep him for this week. Yeah. What about you, James?
I personally prefer Nunes. Maybe I've got some slight bias there. But yeah, I think if I had Watkins, I wouldn't get rid of him necessarily this week. Not with that Spurs defence coming up. I can see goals there. And even against City, I think both of those tricky fixtures that we keep mentioning for City, for Aston Villa, they're both at home. And they've been outstanding at home. So I think Scott alluded to it earlier. I think certainly with attacking assets, you don't need, I wouldn't be terribly worried about keeping hold of them. But defensive ones, like we said in the previous question, probably time to consider moving them on.
I'm a bit wary of keeping that slot there as well for Watkins. Like that is, you've got Watkins, Darwin, Alvarez, all around that sort of price point. Even you could drop down to Isak as well. I just think alongside Salah and Haaland, you can just jump around on that third spot. I think I did toy around with improving my defense and going to like 2 up top. And then I thought if one of these strikers does well, it's going to be a pain to rearrange it. So I think keeping that slot regardless is handy.
I agree totally. Yeah. Especially with the way the point system is this year. Okay. Last but not least, we have Mr. Coles has been on.
Where is he in the leaderboard?
He's pretty high, isn't he? He doesn't like to talk about it, though, does he?
Is he 12th? Is he still 12?
He's in the top 20.
Whilst Ben checks that, I'll read his question. Currently sat on 5.5 million and surprisingly struggling to choose a midfielder. I've already got James Ward-Prowse, Foden and Saka. Who would you bring in? And it isn't that easy, this one. But I have an answer, but I'm going to go to you first, Scott.
Yeah, I'm wondering if that's the is that the Bowen money? Maybe, I don't know, because I've got this similar thing. If I'm taking Bowen out, I was looking at Erdegaard potentially, because I think once he
isn't it?
no, he's 4.9. 4.9.
He's 4.5. Oh, okay, cool. Yeah, no,
4.9 Erdegaard. Yeah. But yeah, once he's back in, he's going to be playing the Champions League and Premier League games. Martinelli, if you didn't want to spend all of it and you wanted to spread a bit of the money, he's already got Ward-Prowse. And then I was talking to Ben about this. I texted him earlier because I was looking at. I'm liking the look of Eze. I know it's not going to spend all the money, and I know normally we'd look at Eze when there's like no Europe, but I'm tempted to go early on him. He's just so good because of Luton, and just like he's come back from injury and he's just picked up straight away, hasn't he? I think he played 32 minutes and got 4 points, and then got 11 points against Everton. And he's just one of them players who's just going to keep getting your bonus. So I am tempted by that. But yeah, it's just whether the timing's right.
Oh, no, I was considering the same thing earlier as I was preparing for the pod. Looking at his last game week score, I think he was one of the highest scorers last week. He's up there, and he's been out injured. You know, he's not in the Saka in the Saka bracket, but you wouldn't expect him to be for that. But he's in that little tier, not too far down that leaderboard of the players. So I don't think it's that crazy. And of course, there aren't that many European fixtures coming up left anyway. So jumping early wouldn't be the craziest idea. I think I don't dislike that. What do you think, Ben?
Yeah, I like Martinelli. I think that's who I would go for. I've already got him in my team as well. I just think he's a great player to have in your team. He's got lots of potential of scoring goals, assists, creating chances. He's everywhere, and he's a very busy player.
Yeah. Just got his first goal for Brazil as well. So he might come back buzzing. I've just realised something. Sorry. I didn't put Baz's question in here, and the talk of Eze has reminded me, so I forgot to put it here. But Baz's question was basically, what's our thoughts on Palmer for game week 15? And I'd actually written, Eze's reminded me, because I actually looked and I thought, I've got my eye on Eze at the minute, and then game week 15, I think he plays Liverpool. So I was sort of thinking Eze then to Palmer could be all right. What do you think of Palmer, 15 onwards?
I think that's not a bad shout myself. If you look at Chelsea's fixtures, they're pretty decent for a number of weeks, I think until maybe mid-January. And he's on pens, he looks good. His expected goal involvement's very high. So at that price, I think he could be a good option. Yeah.
Just sorry, mate.
You could even bring him in this week. I know it's a single game week for Newcastle away, but he's such a good price at 3 million. He should be going up again, probably 0.2. And then they've got the double game week after that. And he'll be good for the part of the bus as an enabler in the midfield.
I quite like the look of Dominic Szoboszlai. I know they've got City this week. I wouldn't if you've got any injured player. I am actually considering considering him as my Matoma replacement. It's possibly not ideal timing, but he's not a defender. He's not going to get minus points. So he's got some nice fixtures after this week. He's nailed. He's great for bonus. He's an all-rounder, and he rates very highly in tackles, and he's pretty decent in big chances created and shots on target. So I think he could be a decent option, and he's not too expensive. So that would be my take for the as an alternative for this 5.5 slot.
I wouldn't go there yet. I think game week 14 is probably the week to bring him in if you want, just because he does get rotated in Europe, and obviously they're playing Man City this week. But next week, definitely, I could see him playing both games in the league. He's a fantastic player. He can do everything, create chances, assists, goals, and he takes all the set pieces, doesn't he? So yeah, he's a great player. Just maybe not this week.
Okay,
but definitely over the when the European games finish, definitely a player to consider.
Okay. Before we move on to the league tables, etc., there's a couple of things in the chat that I've picked out, and I want quick fire answers from you because we don't want to go on all night. Is Diaz an option? Says Aman Tatler. Scott.
Yeah, I think he's a decent option. What is he, about 3.5, 3.6? I do like it. Yeah.
Ben, what do you think? Diaz an option?
Maybe not this week, but yeah, good price. Just I don't know. I don't think I'd bring him in this week just because of the Man City game, and I don't know if he'll start. So it's a bit dodgy.
I think I'd rather Eze.
You'll know Eze starts.
And finally, we'll take one of Anthony's comments about Paquetá. Ben, do you think Paquetá's an option potentially as maybe a Bowen replacement?
Yeah, I like Paquetá. He gets involved with the tackles as well. He got 7 tackles the other week in one game.
Wow,
he's everywhere. He's a brilliant player.
I think Penn's as well. I think Penn's, as long as Ben Rama's not on, I think.
Yeah. It's very confusing at West Ham. I think it's when certain players aren't playing that different players have the penalties. But I think he is the first choice penalties taker when he's on the pitch. Oh, sorry, actually, it might be Ben Rama, but then Paqueta's more nailed, isn't he? So,
yeah.
I'm
just a bit wary if they have got Bowen out. Their fixtures look brilliant, didn't they? But if they've got Antonio out, now Bowen out, I'm just a bit wary of how well they'll carry on doing.
That's a good point. Yeah,
he's a bit of a talisman.
They're stretched a bit thin, aren't they? Yeah. Right. Let's whiz through these league tables. Ben, do you want to do the Dream Team Tonic Cash League?
Yep. Let me just find it. Yep. Okay. In 10th place, we got H. Jones. 9th place, Tony Sutcliffe. 8th place, L. Greaves. 7th place, H. Cartridge. 6th place, Connor Tobin. 5th place, G. Walker. 4th place, S. Williams. 3rd place, B. McLaren. 2nd place, G. Payne. And top of the shop, our very own Scott Harris.
I'm just waiting for that game week. That game week 14. I've got to keep putting everyone off using part of the bus so I can stay there.
Since you forgot to join the patron only league, well, you can read that one out, Scott.
Right, where are we next one? Oh God, you do have to zoom, don't you? Right. In 10th, we've got Baz McCormack. In 9th, we've got D. Williams. In 8th, we've got Anthony Sutcliffe. In 7th, we've got Jay Bevan. In 6th, we've got G. Paul. In 5th, Jay Payton. In 4th, we've got Scott McGee. In third, we've got Connor Tobin. In second, we've got Andy Barnett. And in first, Ben Coles.
Right. I'll do the Dream Team Tonic tag leaderboard. In 10th, we've got me and Ryan Driver. In 9th, Liam Greaves and Matt Brackley. 8th, Tom Brindley and Aman Tatler. 7th, Lewis Wright and Matthew Kent. 6th, Mark McKee and Patrick Bryson. 5th, Cal Gregg and Lee Chapman. 4th, Connor Story and Scott Harris. 3rd, Anthony Sutcliffe and Andy Barnett. 2nd, Baz McCormack and Ben Coles. And at the top, with a lot of chips used, I might add, Simon Davis and Stephen Williams.
Well done.
We're going to skip the other leagues this week, and we'll do those next week, I think. So, is there anything else you guys want to add before we sign off?
Don't forget to like and subscribe.
Cheers, everyone in the chat. And I guess
Yeah,
as well,
thanks for everybody.
obviously this is open to everyone, isn't it? But yeah, if you did want to join in again in the chat with our normal episodes, you can sign up to the Patreon. Link in the description.
Cool. Thanks, Scott. Well, I will bid you all good night then. Thanks for everyone who joined us. I hope you enjoyed the podcast, and no doubt the Tonic Boys will be back soon. Cheers.
Cheers, guys.
Cheers, everyone.